Welcome to another edition of the Hoop Scoop. I'm Jared Johnson, and 82-81, Texas Tech defeated Houston in overtime. It's one of the more improbable victories by the Red Raiders in any sport in recent years. Not because that's not taking anything away from this Texas Tech team, which, oh, by the way, has won 6 in a row overall, and they are 5-0 on the road in the Big 12 now. It's because they were playing a very good Houston team who almost never loses at home or period. They had a long winning streak going in the Big 12 dating back to last year in the regular season. They had a 33-game home winning streak that Texas Tech snapped, obviously. That was tops in Division I. This is, I believe, I didn't know this, but ESPN reported that on their telecast it's the best start for Texas Tech in Big 12 play ever. And that's saying something. It's a team that's been to multiple Sweet 16s, obviously the national championship game since they've been in the Big 12, and multiple NCAA tournament appearances. So that is quite an accomplishment. But what a game. So much adversity. First off, I tweeted about it. I posted on the board. What a terrible call. In all my years, essentially since I've been walking, I've been playing and watching basketball and talking about it. Playing basketball, watching basketball, covering basketball at every level of the sport. And that may be, it's top 5 worst calls I've ever seen by a ref, that flagrant 2 call on JT Toppin. Maybe you call it a flagrant 1. I would disagree with that, to be honest. Maybe you call it a foul. Okay, I mean, he did kick him in the junk. But he was clearly just trying to throw a pass. There was nothing intentional about it. To throw JT Toppin out, the leading scorer and leading rebounder, or anybody for that matter, but just the magnitude of that call to eject him, it was just one of the worst calls of all time. Probably any sport I've seen, but definitely in basketball, top 5 worst at any level. Even rigged high schools, in the middle of nowhere, stuff like that I've been a part of one way or the other. That was just horrific. And I got to applaud Grant McCasland. Normally, I don't like it when coaches go crazy and lose their stuff. But that was the right move to take up for your player and your team. And obviously, the team responded. Now, it was early in the game. I think it was just like 3.5 minutes into the game. And you could tell Tech showed up ready to play, expecting to win. But you could tell that the fellas were fired up about it. And keep in mind, Kevin Overton, one of your best players, one of your core rotation players, didn't play at all because of a head injury. So no JT Toppin, no Kevin Overton, and then McCasland is ejected, which I still think, like I said, I was really glad to see that. My opinion of him as a coach and really just as a dude went way up with that. That was the right thing to do. But Texas Tech still had a ball game to play against one of the best defensive teams in the country, one of the best teams, period, in the country, and a team that just doesn't lose at home. But Tech found a way. They led at half. They led until about 10 minutes left to go in the half, I believe. And it looked like Houston started to take control of the game. Tech was wearing out. But, man, they found a way. It was like big play after big play, big shot after big shot. I don't even know. I feel like I have to credit the entire roster and the coaching staff for this victory. But I want to give some credit to Emily Yalaho, who was called upon to play some significant minutes, and he made some significant plays. Now, yeah, he made some mistakes. You could tell he was a little raw out there, inexperienced, but in terms of hustle, playing defense, and then he got the defensive stop at the end of the game against Houston's star player, so forced a turnover. So for him to come in, he made some nice free throws, played some really good defense. He had to have him. Federico fouled out in overtime as well, and he was in foul trouble for most of the game. Again, no JT Toppin for most of the game. He really had to step up, but it wasn't just him. Kerwin Walton, I want to give you his stats because I know he made 4 threes, and we've been saying, people have been asking Mighty Joe and I over and over, why is Kerwin Walton starting? Why is Kerwin Walton starting? And there's a couple of reasons for that, in my opinion, in terms of rotation and everything. But also, you knew he was good for 1 or 2 of these in a big Big 12 game. I remember a game in Waco where he made 4 or 5 threes as well a couple of years back. or against Baylor. Maybe it was in Lubbock. But bottom line is, Kerwin Walton is good for a monster game exactly when you need it. And it wasn't just the shooting from him. He played good defense. He was playing out of position, really, just out of necessity because of all those losses I just talked about. And he played really well. Kerwin Walton, nobody should be complaining or asking questions about him anymore. Just a great performance from him against Houston. And then, Chance McMillan, big shot after big shot. They were putting the ball in his hands and saying, go to work. We need you to manufacture something. Honestly, I've been clamoring for it anyways. We have so many options on this team, but he is such a gifted offensive player that it's hard for me not to see him. Like, when he only puts up 7 or 8 shots, I'm like, man, he's too good an offensive player to not get more shots, more volume. Elijah Hawkins, what a great game by him. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Chance McMillan led all scorers tonight at a game-high 23 points to go with 5 rebounds. Darian Williams didn't even know if he was going to play tonight. He did. He ended up fouling out, but what a big 3 at the end of the game. In the second half, he really seemed to take over. He had a big block, too. Him and Federico combined on a block late in regulation. So Darian Williams had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, but those stats don't tell what he meant to the team tonight. So great performance from him. Christian Anderson, the freshman, made some clutch free throws, 3 of them actually, I believe in overtime. It's all run together. This was such a high emotion game, but he ended up with 10 points and a couple of rebounds. And bottom line is the whole team played really hard. They needed every bit of the effort from all of them. Just a lot of adversity, every reason, every excuse to just throw in the towel, and they didn't. And when it looked like they were wilting late, they forced overtime. Overtime, you're thinking, how do these guys have anything left in the tank? But they found a way. 82-81, they beat Houston. I got to say, in terms of range of emotions and entertainment value, this ranks right up there with any college basketball game I've seen in a long time, and maybe in a decade or so. I know the UT game with Adams and Beer coming back and all that, but that just seemed soap opera-ish to me. This seemed like 2 teams who really wanted to win, believed they were going to win, just battled. And a lot of times it was like a street fight out there. Bodies hitting the floor, a lot of injuries, guys fouling out, technicals, ejections, all overtime, in-state, the whole in-state, and then conference rivalry thing. But the bottom line is Texas Tech emerges with a great win in terms of your resume. This is huge. And, oh, by the way, they're just a game out of first place now. So Texas Tech is right there at 8-2 in the Big 12. And the only loss in the last, 9 Big 12 games, they opened the Big 12 play at home by losing UCF, and that was rough. But since then, they've played really good basketball. And they've shown an ability to win in a lot of ways. And again, that only loss was by 1 at home against Iowa State. And a lot of it was because of poor free throw shooting, which is weird because it cropped up and almost cost them against Houston tonight, too. They ended up, like I said, Anderson and then Elijah Hawkins made some clutch free throws late, but it almost cost them again because they had a streak where they missed like 4 or 5 in a row late, and it looked like it was going to get away from them. But it's a good free throw shooting team for the season by percentage. But, that's what cost them against Iowa State as well, that 1 point loss in overtime instead of a 1 point win. Other than that, Tech's won 6 straight, including a 16-point win over Arizona at home, and then this 1 point win at Houston. So it'll be interesting to see where Texas Tech is ranked. It'll be interesting to see, does Overton come back? So we've seen how they've responded to some adversity. How do they respond to this, overwhelming success? This is going to be highlighted on a lot of stuff, even ESPN. There were some great games across the country today and just in the Big 12, but the entertainment value on that game against Tech and Houston, between Tech and Houston, was just outstanding. So just as a basketball fan, has my juices flowing. And then just the anger I had as a basketball fan, take Tech or Houston out of it, just knowing the magnitude of the game and to eject JT Toppin on that call pissed me off something awful. I even posted on Twitter about it, which I normally don't even do during games. Of course, talked about it on the Inside the Red Raider board, but my temper was flowing. My juice, I was on alert throughout the whole first half after that, and kind of settled in. And then, wow, what a great game, and obviously a great finish by the Red Raiders. So, hats off to the whole program for this win. They got to keep it going though, and it's still going to be tough. Their schedule coming up, but as for tonight, what a tremendous performance and victory. The toughest team wins, right? I think they definitely earned that tonight, that moniker tonight, that McCaslin likes to say. So for now, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.